Hi, welcome to Vlogentines number 12. My name is Donna from In a Pickle Knitting. I am here today with a children's literature book and also a craft for Valentine's Day. I started to say a children's literature book for Valentine's Day, and it could be, but I don't think it's what you're going to think of as something you'd share as a Valentine's gift. But it is a lovely book, it's an important book, and it's one that does have to do with love and hearts. So this book is called The Invisible String, written by Patrice Karst, and I cannot pronounce the illustrator's last name, Joanne, and then I'm going to let you see that so you can make it out for yourself. The book, The Invisible String, is a story about an invisible string that connects us, is the love you have for others. And it was written originally, it was told as a story to the author's young son who had a separation anxiety every day when she would drop him at his daycare. And so she told him about this invisible string that's always there. And it turned into this book that is, it's about separation, loss of any kind, but it also has the message even if you're not experiencing loss. And she tells the story through two young children who are upstairs sleeping, and a thunderstorm awakens them, and they run downstairs and they need their mom. And she says, but I'm here even if I'm not right beside you. And she explains that through this invisible string. And then the children have questions. It's because this string is a string made of love. So she says, when you are at school and you miss me, your love travels all the way along the string until I feel it tug on my heart. And when you tug it right back, we feel it in our hearts, said Jeremy. So that is what she's explaining about this invisible string. And then the kids go on to answer, well, is it between our pets and our friends? And she says, yes, it's anywhere and everywhere. And the children then have questions, well, what if I go down in a submarine or up in a spaceship? And they're always there. She says, even there, a jungle adventure. It's a very nicely illustrated story, as well as being nicely told. Very sparse. And there is just one brief mention of death. And she says, then Jeremy quietly asked, can my string reach all the way to Uncle Brian in heaven? And she says, yes, even there. So this is the lost part of the book. And she does in the back have an author's note where she says she uses that word heaven, but if that's not amongst your beliefs, she says you can call it the other side, the great beyond, and it's a place to start opening a conversation if that's the word you would use, or choose something else to say at that point. And she's the children are making a huge mess, and every page is full of hearts, every page. If the children make a huge mess, they say, does the string go away when you're mad at us? Never, said Mom. Love is stronger than anger, and as long as love is in your heart, the string will always be there. So I highly recommend this book. I'm not thinking of it as a Valentine's type gift, not that it couldn't be, but that is our children's literature book for today. I have a couple of crafts I was going to share with you. The first one is a craft that I just shared the other day, and I didn't show you this color combination, but I showed you a coaster made out of 5-inch squares, and you can purchase something called a charm pack that is a coordinated set of fabrics from a collection that are designed to go together. And I did look, the set that I had 42 squares, so I think I said 25. I know they have at least 25. That particular set had 42 squares in it. So here's one I made out of some of my scraps. I just cut 5-inch squares. You don't have to buy a charm pack to do this. But a viewer mentioned that she had received some of these as a gift, and it would look like the same thing, except instead of being squares, where you would fold 4 of your squares along a horizontal line and make a long rectangle. You're going to make 4 of those. Instead, you fold them from corner to corner as a triangle, and so you can have a triangle coaster. So I make, from the same thing, 5-inch squares, you could create triangles, and I never thought of that, and I think maybe I even like this one better. I don't know. They're both very nice. They're very easy little craft to make, and they work well with scraps of fabric, because at this point with my Valentine's fabrics, that's all I have are little scraps of fabric, and I actually had to squeeze out a bit for these. So, well, I already made this one, but I had to squeeze out some when I wanted to try the triangle way. Do it the same way, just fold a triangle, set each one up, and on the last one lift up and tuck the first one underneath. So that was something I just wanted to throw in there. Now my crafts today, I have more than one. I mentioned yesterday that I'm going to have to do more than one a day so that I can get them all in. And that is a glass block. And you might be able to see from the reflection there that I have the word love across mine. And I do have some little lights in there. This set is battery operated. Now you really can't tell, that's why I didn't have it lit up, but in person you can see the word love through there. It's just, it doesn't work on camera to show that. So I have a couple of pictures here. I may show what the materials that I used. I purchased a glass block, and these have a little round disc in the bottom, so there's an opening so you can shove stuff up there. But it's just a circle, so it's not like you can get your hand up there and arrange things. You could do it with some kind of an implement, perhaps. On the very back, I glued a piece of Valentine's paper, which is red, and had some hearts on it. I took ribbon and tied around the outside side edges and made a bow out of it to decorate the top, put the little lights up inside. But to create the design, I used a sticker pack. It was a foamy sticker that already had this on it, and stuck it on here, and then used a spray paint that is a frosted glass effect. And I believe that you should be able to see, perhaps it'll be at the end of the video, a picture of all my supplies. But I do want to caution you. I've made these before, and I cut designs out for my Cricut and used their stick-on vinyl, which I then peeled off. So put it on, spray, and after it's dried, and several coats, 3 to 4 I would say, gives you this nice frosted glass effect. So you put that vinyl on and then you can peel it off. Well, this was a rubber foamy with adhesive on the back shape, but I'd also put some hearts on here. And that didn't work because they wouldn't come off. I did not test them first. I just assumed peel them off. No, they would not come off. This one came right off, but these were different brands. So I ended up removing all of this. This scratches right off. I wet it and used a razor blade cutter kind of a thing to scrape it off and start it all over again. So I just reused the love part on there. So this is my craft today, the glass blocks. And typically where you can find these at craft stores, you'll also find some little lights. You could use electric lights that plug in. I had a set of pink ones, but there were 50 lights on there and it was too much for this little one. These come in different sizes. So if I'd had a larger one, that might have worked, but it did not work in this. And I had purchased one set of these. Well, I thought I was buying one set of these for something I was trying to do last summer. And what I ordered was a set of 6. So I've used them. They've been very handy. I'm glad it came that way. But this is my last set, and I did use that because that worked better. So that's our first craft. Now the second craft is a knitting craft I have been working on, and I am not quite finished with this, but it is a pair of socks, and I am finished with one. So that's why I thought this is one I'm down to. I've just finished reducing the gusset stitches, so I just need to work down the foot and do the toe. So that is really in the home stretch because this is just plain old knitting. I just need to stop doing other crafts and finish it. But I'll show you the finished one. You can see here 2 little hearts along the leg. And this is from a pattern called V for Valentine sock, and it's by Ellie Jones, who is Craft House Magic. Now, I made a couple of modifications to this. One on purpose, one by accident, but the by accident one I'm fine with. If you look at her design, you'll see she has a heart and under it a V. So really like a heart sitting on top of a heart. But she titled it V for Valentine's, so maybe that V is part of her pattern name. So there was, but what I decided to do was to make 2 hearts. So that was just a choice. I decided I'm going to have 2 hearts instead of, because I thought I wanted the leg a little bit longer, and I could have done that and just extended with plain knitting. But I decided I would just make 2 Valentines, which was very simple. 2 hearts, not Valentines, but I just did a couple of rows and started the top part of the chart over again. Now the mistake that I made is that Ellie wrote her pattern to have this on both sides. But when I do sock patterns, well, first I had just been looking at another sock pattern, and in fact had started it and just started the design and decided I'm not liking this design. I liked the way it looked. I'm not enjoying the knit. And it was because they had a lot of, the whole top, which I did do that way, was 1x1 twisted rib. And I thought, okay, I can make it through that twisted rib. I don't like doing twisted rib, but I made it through. And then I realized in the pattern on the sock was a whole bunch of more, and I thought, I just don't feel like doing that right now, so maybe I'll do it another time. But I decided then I just ripped the whole thing out and did my normal 2x2 rib cuff, which I like. And I decided to do this pattern. But what I'm getting to, the other pattern only had the design on one side. So just in my brain, I'm just saying, okay, here, I did my design, now I'm just knitting around the back and coming back around to see what to do on this side. And it wasn't until I was done with all of one heart, and I thought, oh, why does it say repeat? Oh, that's because I was supposed to do it. It's going to be on both sides, but I don't care if it's on both sides. One side's fine. So that was an unexpected mistake, but the 2 hearts was intentional. And the thing is, for I think a lot of sock knitters, is you're looking at a design pattern that might go down the foot, or just be on the leg, or leg and foot. You're going to do the rest of the sock probably the way you want to do it. Like, I'll put the heel I decide to put in, or the kind of cuff I want, the kind of toe I want. Sock knitters do that. So I was just thinking about this part of the pattern. Now this yarn, let me get the tag out here, and I've still got a lot of yarn left, a lot of yarn, and I only have to go down the rest of the foot and the toe. This is Dream in Color yarn, and it is, the base is Bobby BFL. It is 85% BFL, 15% nylon. So these are going to be pretty strong socks. The BFL is a stronger yarn, will have more endurance or longevity than merino, and with the nylon added, even though it's 85-15, that percentage, that's going to be pretty long wearing, I think. The color name is Jocelyn 048. I don't know if that's a lot number or what. And I have been keeping this in this Valentine's bag that I've actually had for several years. It has a gray background, and then you'll see peach and pink and red flowers and hearts and dots. And this was made by Freckled Whimsy, who also dyes yarn, and she did it in a conjunction with Legacy Fiber Arts. So I ordered this together with a skein of yarn, and I wore a pair of socks the other day at the beginning of the Vlogtober. It was in a yarn called Will You Be Mine, and that yarn and this were a set. So I've been keeping my project in this. I just ordered some yarn. Now, remember, Ellie of Craft House Magic created that pattern, and I just ordered some yarn from her, and I wish I had made the socks in this, and I might make a pair from it. This colorway is her Valentine's color, called Always, and it has the purple for the heels, cuffs, and toes, the mini skein, and then the main skein of yarn has purples and pinks in it. It's called Always, and it is a 75% superwash merino, 25% nylon. So I'm thinking this would make this particular pattern, the V for Valentine's, that would really look nice in that yarn as well. So I think that's all I had for you today. And today is Vlogtober Day 12, so I'll see you, I hope, tomorrow for number 13. Bye.